Hi my friends, I'm Mike and welcome to the Lions Lounge, where today we'll be continuing our journey exploring each of the Fast and Furious films. This time being the second entry in the franchise, Too Fast, Too Furious. So to start things off, this is going to be very spoiler heavy, so if you haven't seen the film, go ahead and watch it, and then come back here because at the very end, we'll be making a cocktail inspired by it. Too Fast, Too Furious takes place sometime after the events of the first film, and follows Brian O'Connor as the main protagonist once again. After the end of The Fast and the Furious, Brian has been on the run and has escaped to Miami, getting by through street racing with the help of his new friend Tej. During one of these races though, Brian is caught by the cops and given an ultimatum: go to jail or go undercover as a racer for a drug kingpin, Carter Verone, and help bring him down, in exchange for which his record will be wiped clean. Realizing though that he needs some help, Brian travels to Barstow, California to meet an old friend, Roman Pierce, and convince him to join him as another racer. And like Brian, Roman also has a record, one that he blames Brian for, but after a quick scuffle, Roman reluctantly agrees to help. Both are made aware that there's already an informant, Monica, who's been undercover as Verone's assistant, and that she'll be helping them. Upon arriving at his estate though, they learn that they have competition, and that to be able to work for Verone, they must speed to a lot and retrieve a package before the other racers. I have to say that one thing you'll find is that this film has a lot more high stakes racing. Once Brian and Roman return with the package, they learn of their real job: to transport a large sum of cash to a specified location, which they pass on to the feds, who make a plan to capture Verone at the handoff. The duo are feeling skittish though, and challenge two of their former competitors for their cars for a backup plan just in case. This turns out to be smart thinking, as Verone is growing increasingly suspicious of Brian's relationship with Monica, so much so that she informs Brian that Verone plans to kill him and Roman at the drop point, and have two of his goons riding with them to ensure the job gets done. The day of the mission arrives, and Brian, Roman, and Verone's men grab the cash and make a run, but are quickly surrounded by cops until the duo make a detour to an apparently abandoned warehouse, which, of course, is their backup plan. Brian and Roman previously talked with Tej, who arranged for a massive scramble of racers to distract the cops and allow the duo to escape in the frenzy. Not only that, during the confusion, Brian and Roman switched the cars they had previously won, and successfully fooled the police. And these aren't just any cars. No, they've been fitted with passenger side ejector seats, which Roman uses to lose his murderous babysitter. All seems to be going to plan, until Brian learns the drop location is not where they all expected it to be, and are instead lured to a boat dock, the feds being duped into capturing Verone's proxy and revealing Monica as a double agent. Now with the money in hand, Verone orders Brian and Roman's deaths, and takes Monica on the boat with him. Brian is nearly about to be killed when Roman arrives just in the nick of time to rescue him, the two then deciding to drive their car right into the fleeing boat, injuring Verone and allowing them to apprehend him. And after handing him over to the feds, Brian and Roman are set free, with a little bit of stolen cash to fund a plan to open a garage together. And that's the end of Too Fast, Too Furious. Overall, it's definitely not the best movie in the series, but it's honestly not quite as bad as I remember it. I will say that Roman is a lot more serious in this film, whereas in later iterations, he becomes partnered with Tej, and the two share some great comedic chemistry. The races are also a lot more thrilling than the first film, and while I'd say it feels a tad too long, it's never boring. So yeah, far more positive than I thought I'd be, not having seen this film in years. So now we come to the part where we make our cocktail. And honestly, the boat scene really stands out the most. So what better cocktail to make than one you can enjoy while a car comes crashing onto your deck? And I've named this cocktail the Saboateur. So this is gonna be a shake and drink, and you're gonna start with 2 ounces or 60 milliliters of a spiced rum. I'm using Bacardi Oakheart. Next, 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 milliliters of Midori. This is a Japanese melon liqueur. Next, 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 milliliters of lemon juice. Then 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of lime juice. 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 milliliters of dry Curacao, then 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of Campari. And lastly, 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of simple syrup. Add some ice and shake for 12 seconds. Then take a hurricane glass and add some crushed ice to the glass. Leave some room at the top. Then strain into the glass. And then for garnish, I'm gonna take a little umbrella, a slice of orange, and a cherry. And there you have the Saboateur. Cheers. Whew, really strong. So initially the bitterness from the Campari shines through and then gives way to the spiced rum. The longer it sits, the more the fruit notes from the Midori and the Curacao shine through. It's a little tart, but not overly tart, sweet, but not overly sweet. I'd say it's more on the bitter side than the sweet side, so if you're not really a big fan of bitter drinks, you can probably scale down the Campari a little bit and scale up some of the other sweeter components. Overall, as someone who wasn't initially a fan of Campari, I like this one a lot. It's fruity, it's tropical, it's kind of a twist on a standard tropical cocktail because those are usually very sweet. And the simple syrup is really needed here because otherwise I feel the Campari and the tartness from the lemon juice would be a little overpowering, whereas this scales it back a bit. It is still bitter, but it's also sweet. This is a nice variation on the standard tropical drink because there's not really a lot of them I can think of that are bitter. So again, if you like bitter cocktails, you'll probably love this one. But try it for yourself and let me know what you think in the comments below. As well as if you have any cocktails from your favorite films you'd like me to make. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give it a like. And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to see what I make outside this channel, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Space Lion or Instagram at Mr.Spacelion. But friends, thank you so much for stopping by the Lion's Lounge. I've been your bartender, Mike, and I hope to see you next time.